Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10, everyone who is watching this. My name is Danny Berg, and today we have the top 10 unbelievable magic tricks. Number 10, me with this coin. Huh? Whoa! Pretty crazy, right? Unbelievable, you might say. I'm kidding, of course, guys. The ones on this list are slightly more impressive than that. To be honest, they're pretty incredible, to say the least. So let's start things off at number 10 with Derren Brown's Russian Roulette. In 2003, magician and illusionist Derren Brown attempted a TV first, a live broadcasted game of Russian roulette. A volunteer was picked at random from 15,000 applicants in front of millions of people watching at home, a man called James. James loaded one of the gun's 6 empty chambers with a real bullet. He then sat down behind Derren, who then asked him to calmly say the numbers 1 to 6 very clearly and loudly. One by one, he fired each chamber at his head. One by one, as everyone watched between their fingers like this, nothing happened, thankfully. Then we got to chamber number 5. Derren smiled, he pointed the gun at the sandbag thinking that was the bullet, and oh dear. But if it's not in that one, does that mean he doesn't know where the bullet is after all? Derren sat there for over a minute in silence. Everyone thought he was about to blow his own brains out on live TV, and then this happened. Wow, do you know what? Even though I know he survived this, whenever I watch it, it still gets me. Terrifying stuff. Next up at number 9 now, we have the Challenge of the Death Dive by Robert Gallop. Cool name. In 1996, escapologist Robert Gallop did a TV special that blew everyone's mind. He got onto a plane, he was handcuffed, put inside a chained up mailbag, which was then put inside a locked prison cage, and then that was thrown out of an aeroplane. Like, what? Oh yeah, and as he tries to escape all of that, his parachute was waiting for him in a bag on the outside of the cell. Robert spent 9 months learning how to pick locks in free fall. If he failed at any of these different stages, he would have been dead. As everyone watched on in horror, Robert escaped from all the different layers and successfully used his parachute to stop himself from being shoveled up into a bag on the desert floor below. Absolutely mental stuff. Coming in at number 8 now, we have the Impossible Quick Change Act. This trick was performed on America's Got Talent in 2006 by double act David and Diana. They weren't messing around with their title either. It really was an impossible quick change act. The crowd was astounded. How on earth were they changing their clothes that quickly in plain sight of everyone? Sometimes her hair even changed. Now you might be able to get away with one dress underneath another, but not this many, surely. Even the guy's suit changed at one point. The judges were blown away and pretty much as confused as the rest of us. But you don't need to understand how a trick is done to absolutely love it, and the couple ended up going all the way to the season semi-finals. We have the head drop. Cyril Takayama was already a well-known name among magic circles, but a lot of people know him for one trick in particular. It really needs no context or explanation, but before I show it to you, I'm just going to ask you guys, what would you do if someone walked up to you in the street and did this? I mean, I've heard of jaw-dropping illusions before, but it's usually the person watching whose jaw drops. So, how would you guys react? Personally, I totally relate to the people in this clip. Next up at number 6 now, we have David Blaine, Frozen in Ice. In 2000, David Blaine performed a TV special called Frozen in Time. Now if I told you that I was going to put you in a solid block of ice for 3 days in freezing temperatures with no food and you had to stand up the whole time, you probably call that an execution. David Blaine calls that a day at the office. That's exactly what he did in front of a crowd who watched him do what medics said would be impossible. The scariest part for David in the end wasn't the lack of food or even the temperature, it was apparently the sleep deprivation. By day 3, just hours before being cut out of the ice, David was hallucinating badly. He said that when he saw his partner, he became convinced that he had already died and that this was just what death was like. Does that sound absolutely terrifying to you guys? It does to me. And if you're wondering how on earth a human could possibly do this, I think it's safe to say that David Blaine is not a human. On to our number 5 now guys, and we have the bullet catch. The bullet catch is very simple. simple. A real bullet is fired at a magician who then catches it in their mouth. Magicians have actually died attempting this exact trick. So when famous American duo Penn and Teller announced they were going to perform it on their show, everyone held their breath. They got members of the audience to put their initials on real bullets. They then loaded them into real guns, set up real glass panes for the bullets to go through, and showed the audience every step of the way. They then both pointed their guns at each other, and after an eternity of suspense, with the bullets now firmly between their teeth, they walked back into the crowd and asked the same audience members who signed the bullets to confirm that they are the same bullets. They were, and the crowd went wild. There are many theories about how they did this trick, but none of them take away from simply how impressive it really is. Moving on to our number 4 now, and we're going to go back in time to the 1960s to see the full zigzag. This trick was performed in London by Robert Harbin and has truly stood the test of time. Robert showed the audience a box that is split into 3 different sections: top, middle and bottom, and they can all be pulled out. You guys know what's coming next. A member of the audience steps up, gets into the box, and we can see her body parts sticking out of the holes. Robert then slides a sheet of metal in between the sections, and then he slides the middle part out completely. They even touch the same body parts and they're all still moving. It is insane. I don't have a single clue how he did this. My best guess is that she's extremely double jointed and she's moving her body in a weird cut. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Such a crazy trick. Alright guys, earlier on in the video we talked about the fast dress change. They were very quick, but now we might have something that's even quicker. At number 3 we have Metamorphosis. This trick was performed by the Pendragons on TV, and at first we see the man gets all tied up inside a bag. Nothing too crazy so far. Then he gets locked inside a box. Okay, and then she gets on top of the box, lifts up the curtain and drops it. What? I don't get it. Even if he wasn't in the bag and in the lockbox below her, how did he get up there that fast? And where did she go? It is insanely fast. Let's watch that again. Even if we put that into slow motion, there is no figuring out how that is done. My brain hurts. Next up at number 2 now, we have David Blaine and Harrison Ford. In 2014, world famous magician David Blaine did a series of specials where he visited the homes of famous people and freaked them out with crazy magic tricks. One of the best ones was where he visited famous actor Harrison Ford's house. David asked Harrison to hold a deck of cards and picture just one of them in his head. He does that, and then David says the card is now gone from the deck. Sure enough, Harrison looks through the pack and it's gone. David then asks Harrison to pick up a piece of fruit in the kitchen they were in and cut it open. Lo and behold, his card is somehow inside that piece of fruit. Harrison had only one thing left to say: "Get the f*** out of my house." And finally now at number 1 we have David Copperfield and the Death Saw. Any magic fans out there watching this will obviously know who David Copperfield is. Perhaps one of the most astounding tricks of all time that he did was the Death Saw from 1988. David climbed into a wooden box. The edges came down and he was tied down to the surface belly down. Then a saw began to descend. David managed to wriggle his way free and starts to look like he's getting out, and then oh no. Then it gets really weird because his assistants wheel his 2 separate halves out and you can see they are both still moving. You what, mate? Now if you weren't freaked out already, David then brings his 2 halves back together again. Mental. I'm sure there are many explanations out there for how this was done, but I'm just perfectly happy with the trick. Crazy good. Well guys, I'd like to know how those tricks were all done, but I can't figure them out. What about you though? Do we have any budding magician subscribers out there who know how these are done? Let me hear your thoughts down below. My name's Danny Burke, I'll be down there in the comments section too. Thanks for watching Most Amazing Top 10, and I'll see you all in the next one.